Hi, guys. Today in this live, we want to talk about what and which therapy is the best for your child. This sparked from someone, actually, a lot of you guys will ask me, hey, what type of method do we use at Agents of Speech? Do we use like ABA stuff? Do we use speech therapy stuff? Do we use like playtime or, floor or whatever you call it? Like, I don't know. There's a lot of like floor time, whatever. There's loads of different methods to do the same thing. Yes. And is there a better way for a child? Most probably. But is there something that is universally correct? There's a whole crazy debate about this. A lot of people do not like ABA. In fact, we have a whole video about why ABA might be bad or might be good. It really is about the person who's doing it. Okay. At the end of the day, any therapy will make your child stressed out if it's not like if we don't take an approach where the child's well-being is number one. Okay, that's what I'm just going to put out there. All types of therapy, no matter how you do it, it will stress out kids because we're telling them to do something they don't know how to and they don't want to, right? If they knew how to talk, they would have already. And if they liked talking, they would have done it already. If they wanted to listen to you, they already have, right? So if you're telling them to do something outside of what they're comfortable with, then obviously that in itself is actually stressful. Okay, so whenever you remember you learning anything, whether it's like a new language, a new sport, a new like skill set, or like just music in general, it's going to be stressful because you're learning a new thing. So let's go through what and how therapy can be stressful. Okay, I can only speak for the two types of therapy that I know, and that's speech therapy and ABA. Right. So speech therapy today, someone asked me, "Hey, are you open for assessments, whatever?" I'm not open for assessments at this moment in time, sadly, because of the pandemic. And I don't want to say the reason like anymore. It's just right now I don't think it's the best time to open in any sort of fashion. So my whole focus is on agents of speech. So if you need my help, just within agents of speech is fine, but physically not open. All right. So I told that parent to find a clinic that I know of a senior inside of Jakarta. She's great. I'm not gonna say the name here, but if you DM me if you want someone to look for like to do therapy for a child, that's the best bet I can give you. I haven't seen them working at all because I haven't been here for a whole long time. But at the same time, there's no. So I told that parent, hey, this is the place that you should go to for an assessment. And then the parent said, oh, my friend's son went there and it really stressed him out, right? He couldn't do it. He was really stressed out. I don't want the same thing to happen to my daughter, so I didn't go there. Thanks for your recommendation and so on, right? So my point is, even if that place is good, it's still going to stress out some kids. Therapy in general is stressful, right? Okay, so Veronica asks, could I book a virtual session with my daughter? I don't do virtual sessions. All Agents of Speech is about teaching the parent what to do at home. So for me, I don't do teletherapy. I don't do the virtual sessions with the kid because it's very difficult. I don't know how to do it. If other therapists have mastered this craft, then by all means, right? But for me, I don't think it's the best. I rather believe I teach you how to fish, so you don't need to ask for fish from me. You know what I'm saying? Like as the old saying goes. So no, you cannot book a virtual session. But what you can do is that you can join our courses, and you can ask me about how to do things at home after you do, and that's how I think I can help you the most. All right. Thanks, Mohammed. Thank you for a thumbs up. Anyways, so let's keep on going. So you see, even a therapy center with a good reputation will stress out your child, right? So how do you navigate that? The answer is that try, right? The only good way for you to try out therapy is that you collect as much information as you can about that place, and then you go try it out. And then if after a month of therapy your child really doesn't like it, and no matter how good the reviews are, your child just dislikes it and detests that kind of stuff, then don't go anymore. Okay, try somewhere else. Okay, doesn't matter how good that therapist is for about teaching your child. If he or she isn't having a good time, it's not worth it. I mean, it's just down the road. It's just super hard to get them out of the place. For even sometimes, like children come to me, they don't really like. I have some clients, like a small portion of them, that they don't like me. It just happens. It's just not a good fit. Well, it was more the case when I just started, but nowadays it's very seldom that way. Maybe like 1 in 20 would be like that, and I would like, oh, please go here. Maybe this person would be a better fit. I would do that. I wouldn't want to keep them here just because I can't get through them in terms of having a good relationship with them. So it would be that way. And by the way, for this kind of information I'm talking about, the thing is, you need to understand all types of therapy will be like that. It depends on the person and your child's connection. It's not about the method, so to speak. The method is one thing. All right. The rapport is another thing. If you have rapport, no matter what method you're trying, it's going to work to some extent because the child's like, oh, okay, I'll try, I'll bite, and they will listen. So I see Mohammed's asking a question about like a roadmap for therapy. Hey, Mohammed, it really depends on what you need to see a speech therapist, right? A cochlear implant, it really depends how severe the child's hearing is, hearing impairment is, and then, and you say like what steps, right? The first step is to get an assessment, right? I cannot tell you what to do. There will be, because the child, we don't know how much the child can hear. So for cochlear implant, you have to have the speech and language assessment along with the hearing test results for the therapist to look at, and then that person will devise a plan for you. I cannot just tell you from start to finish. Everyone's different, right? I mean, that's the thing about therapy. It's totally, if there was like just a guidebook about like how to do things from A to Z, then you wouldn't need to see a therapist because it's not individualized. The problem about therapy and the beauty of it is that it's totally individualized. We don't know. But as a gist in general, Mohammed, like the steps would be assess how much your child can listen. Is he or she still losing decibels some after the cochlear implant? So if usually what we tell parents is that we're only doing one side of cochlear implant because we want the other side to leave room for technology to advance so that later on, maybe there's something better than cochlear implant down the road. And then you have that other ear to do it. Because once you do cochlear implant, there's no reversing of which, right? You can't do anything other than that. You can't like make it higher, make it, there's nothing that you can do. Maybe you can change the thing, but you know how it magnetically connects to the outer device. I think you can only change the outer device to some extent. I don't know about the inner. I'm not an expert. I'm not an audiologist. I'm just telling you what I know. Okay. So having that, the first step is to know what sounds your child can identify. You will be very, very, very familiar with what we call Ling 6. It's by this speech therapist called Daniel Ling, who's a white guy from the 1970s. Really cool. Read his book, parts of it because it's out of print. But the Ling 6 just basically are the consonant sounds that a cochlear child should be identifying. Actually, just a hearing loss person should be identifying in order to hear all the speech sounds. So we do it every before each session. We check out the Ling 6 for cochlear implant. Most probably the higher frequency sounds like the S sounds might be missing. So usually what that happens is for really young children, we incorporate a lot of sign language. Okay, we use a lot of that, and don't worry that they will be like very into signing, because signing in itself is very functional, is very effective. And if you have if you've seen two deaf people just talking to each other with sign language, is really entertaining. I mean, like they change their faces and whatever, and they're really into it, and it's really communicative. So yeah, sometimes if you have two deaf people who do that, they would rather sign than talk, right? But because a child who is like deaf and so on, they need to interact with us, of which we're not very good with like signing everything. So therefore, they still need to learn how to talk, right? What is the roadmap? I don't know. It really, the first thing you got to do is to teach sign language. Make sure that the cochlear implant is working well. The other side, you should have a hearing aid that is working perfectly, and you check it all the time with the Link 6 sounds, and also to teach them to start, because you don't know how they hear it after the cochlear implant. It might sound rather robotic. So you can try online on YouTube to search like how does cochlear implant sound, and then you can hear the difference in like naturalistic speech and cochlear implant. It just sounds like it's going through a microphone, So a lot of the times for younger children, what happens is that we teach them all the language we can through just speech, and also like signing and pictures and so on. And then as they progress, they will be slower than usual because they're missing a lot of information, right? So as their language progresses, at around like 4 to 5 or something, the main thing that we also do is for them to identify the sounds, because they're going to work much harder to fill in the gaps when we're talking. All right, especially in English. If I don't know, in English is rather difficult because all the sounds blend together when you talk fast, right? I can't speak for other languages. I believe like in Chinese, my mother tongue, it's syllabic time. So we go like one word at a time and we don't really merge them together. So Mohammed, I'm not sure about your language, all right? So I hope I answered your question here. Okay, so Mithili, sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. My child has speech delay, still has, but she's improving new words every day, talking sentences, struggle to pronounce words properly. Her sounds are incorrect. Okay, so her question is, what do I do? So it's easy. Go see a speech therapist, because we don't know what kind of sounds are missing. All right, each sound that are missing are there's a reason behind it. Okay, so we cannot treat a child without knowing what sounds are erroneous, as we call it, and why is it wrong. Okay, and we always treat what we call, for Mithili, your pronunciation, right? That's actually a speech disorder or speech delay, and it's not like a language problem. So they have problems with producing sounds, right? So the problem with the thing about it is that we don't have any courses about this yet. So the best thing is to see a speech therapist, because it's very specific about the errors. So I really don't know, and you really need a trained ear to listen to it and give you feedback about, okay, so he's missing the S sounds, the T sounds, whatever. This is incorrect. This is replaced by what? And then why is it replaced with that? Is it because her tongue muscles aren't strong enough? Is it because she's listening to this sound as this sound, she cannot like identify the difference? Is it because that for some odd reason she just couldn't do the sound because she couldn't identify? Yeah, there's always those reasons. Either she can't identify it through her perceptively, or that she's unable to create that sound with her mouth muscles, right? So what do? See a speech therapist. Okay. Veronica says, my daughter is okay, tracked and vented. She only says 4 words when she puts on Passimo. I don't know what that is. Let me just search online. Passi what? More. All right, let me take a look at what that is. See, I don't know a lot of stuff. Oh, okay. Cool. Okay, I know that what that is in Chinese. I don't know what that is in English. Right. Okay. Cool. So when she puts the valve on, the best thing you can do is the same as what we've been saying about Mohammed's child with a cochlear implant. We want to help her with a lot more gestures, because if she's on a valve, then the problem is that, and she's tracked and vented, that means when we talk, we require air to come out, right? And when she is struggling between breathing and talking, and she hasn't have that strong that coordination going on. So we always talk about in speech, your child's problem is a motoric problem. So it depends. I'm not sure how she is doing right now. Okay, I don't know the details of your child, Veronica, but most probably is that when a child has these problems, like have tracked and vented and so on, she is battling between breathing and talking, and most probably most of the time she would rather use it on breathing, like all of us, right? So I would say that teach her more gestures as much as you can, if she is physically able to do different signs, then help her with it. It doesn't need to be accurate, the sign language, you get it? So you can search up like baby sign language on Google and see what types of common words that a baby should use by what age. Okay, so you can take a look at that and then teach her that way. The thing about this is that she needs to build up her, what's that called, her breathing coordination better, and then we can do a lot more speech. Because right now we don't know whether, like, I haven't seen your child. Maybe when she's trying to say something, it's very difficult for her to do it, and then when it's difficult, she doesn't want to. When she doesn't want to, she won't do it, right? And when she won't do it, she gets less practice, and when she gets less practice, her language doesn't catch up. Okay, yeah, she knows more signs. So introduce as many signs as you can to give it to her. I'm not sure if she's in the best shape to speak. I really don't know. Right? Okay, that's exactly what happens. Great. Yeah. So if that's the case, then your best bet for now is sign language. Okay? If you push her to talk with these physical limitations, it's gonna have a bad taste. It's just not gonna. It's not gonna be rewarding or fun. It's like it's super difficult. It's exhausting. Because I've seen adults on track, right? And we cannot really communicate with babies or toddlers on the track. So I've seen adults on the track on a feeding tube. The way that they talk is so labored, and they're like, and they tell me that he doesn't want to talk. It's just like always like this. The old men in the hospital wards. They just keep on just telling me to go away. Tell me to bugger off. Because when you see a speech therapist in the hospital, what it means, you have to talk and you have to eat. Two things that take up the same space as talking, as breathing. Sorry. So the air tract needs to close when you eat. The air tract, you cannot breathe. You can only breathe out when you're talking, right? You cannot talk when you're breathing in. You go, you can't do that. You can only, when you're talking, air is coming out and it's vibrating your vocal folds here. So therefore, for now, if don't push her to talk. It's okay for her to mouth it even, like teach her as many sign language as possible. All right. Okay, cool. So all this kind of stuff, let's go back to the therapy side of what we're talking about. Guys, if you haven't, go to agentsofspeech.com. And by tomorrow, the micro course will be increasing in price. And the reason behind it is just one word: inflation. Okay. So we're going to increase it. And if you haven't signed up, most probably now until tomorrow, it will still be at like 14.97 USD. Okay. So sign up before then. I see a lot of people have done it already. I'm very happy. So about therapy, and the one thing you have to remember is to try it. Okay. Do not think that just because everyone says, oh, Ming is great, Ming is like really good at like teaching children, you still have to try it out. I always have a mindset of, you come to me doesn't mean that you will be here with me forever. I will have to give you off to someone else if things don't work out, which hurts me personally, because it means that I'm not doing a good job, right? Other than that, sometimes we you have to think about like the multidimensional way of therapy. There's like OT, PT, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, right? There's speech therapy, the 3 T's, the main 3 T's. And the problem with seeing multiple speech therapists in one time is that the methods of one therapy might make you confused about what to do. Okay, it might confuse the child. I think that's fine, to be honest. I really think that's okay, because they're only there for like an hour or something. But if it confuses you, then you don't know what to do. If you're inconsistent with what you're doing with your child, then it's going to confuse them. They won't want to talk to you. Okay, because how children will always they know who to bully. They see you, they're like, okay, this guy I can get off with doing this and that, right? This dad, probably no, I won't pull dad's hair. Okay, grandma, yeah, I'm gonna take all the sweets from grandma. They know these things. Okay, they're speech and language delayed. They're not dumb. Okay, they're in fact they're so smart they can survive in this world without the language. That's what's dangerous about teaching delayed children is because they find other ways to get around to what they want to do with you. Okay, it might be like snatching, it might be like running away, it might be like headbutting you, whatever. So the thing is, if you're not consistent with your child, then it will confuse him and or her, and then in turn it's going to affect your relationship at home. Okay, so the biggest takeaway here is that test as many therapies as you can, but do it one by one, and make sure that you stay long enough and you listen to the therapist. If you feel good about the therapist and he or she is giving you a good understanding about what's going on and educating you at the same time, then okay, by all means, try your best to stay with them. Okay, if not and you don't feel good, then the worst thing I hear about things is that if a parent comes to me and they don't feel good about me and they keep on asking me and suggest stuff to me when I think it's wrong, then it's not going to be a good relationship. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Veronica, the thing is agentsofspeech.com/micro. So micro course that I'll type it for you. Okay. I need to put www. Help me do that, okay? Maybe I'll do it now. Anyway, so I've had, especially when in Asia, right? Others like to say, "Oh, I know what's the best for my kid. I want this to happen. Make it happen for me. I give you money, go do it." It's a very Asian thing. I give you money, solve my problem. That kind of attitude, which is we all do it. I mean, we do it to doctors, right? We do it to everyone. But at the same time, I don't like it, and I'm sure a lot of people who are professionals don't like it either. So whenever you feel like you have to do that, and the therapist is like you're having a tug of war of power, then I don't think it's a good relationship anymore. Okay, in fact, I just refuse to work with parents who even pay me a lot of money. I just say no because I always put the kid first. If the kid is in between me and the parent trying to control what we're going to teach and what approach we're going to take, then I don't think it's the best for the kid. And it's not like I get paid and I can just turn a blind eye. I don't want that in my life, and I don't want that in the child's life either. So if the parent does that to me, I just leave. I just say, "Hey man, sorry, it's not working out. Let's not do this. Here's a bunch of referrals." And then I'll just say, "I'm doing a bad job. I don't want that for a kid. Go find someone else. I can't give you the stuff you want." And that's it. I don't even tell them that, "Oh, I think you're doing this. Your suggestions are whatever." I don't say that because it's just gonna be a bad thing for everyone, right? So, and I also invite parents to tell me that in advance as well. So I want you guys to go and find a therapist, not me, okay? Not me. Maybe me in the future, but not me. To have a good relationship with them, listen to what they say, try out the things that they propose, do exactly as they tell you, and see if those things actually make sense. If it makes sense, keep on doing it. If it doesn't make sense for you, no matter how much you try, that relationship will not work. It's just like any relationship, like friendship, dating, working relationships with your boss and whatnot. If the relationship is toxic between you and the therapist, meaning you guys are trying to scheme against each other. "Oh, I want the child to be talking like this and you're teaching like this. Oh, you're doing too much play. I want it to be more structured." Or "Oh, it's too fierce," or whatever. "Can you be more friendly?" Not on the same page. It'll be very difficult because you won't listen to the therapist to do what you're supposed to do at home, right? And the therapist is going to blame you and going to be like, "Hey, what the heck? You come back with a blank sheet of home practice paper. What's going on, man?" And then you pretend that you did it and you scribbled whatever. I had that multiple times, actually every therapist has done this before, right? We create these homework papers in which some therapists put their lives, put their blood, sweat, and tears into making those so that you can have a good time at home. But some people just whatever. And the reason why some therapists are whatever, because they know that the parents aren't going to do it. They're going to come back with scribbles and pretend that they've done everything, but they haven't. Okay. And, that's just bad. Okay. So let me summarize today's topic. Today's topic is what kind of therapy is good for a child. The answer is every type can be working as long as the rapport is there between the therapist and the child. And also that you and the therapist should be on the same page. If you're not, then it's going to be really difficult, I tell you. And not every therapist can walk away from that kind of relationship because it's their job. Okay, I work for myself. I'm very happy about it, and I can do that, and I can be frank and very straightforward with parents. But not every therapist can do that. In fact, most of them just view it as their job, and pleasing parents is one of the things that they try to keep you there. But to be honest with you, to be very, very and completely transparent, is that sometimes what you think, what the parents think, isn't the best for the kid. Okay, it's just period, because there is professional opinions that you have to take into account. If you don't want professional opinion, then don't ask for a therapist, right? You can try your own way. Okay, you go somewhere, you pay money for advice, you should take it. That's what I mean. Okay, not in a bad way. I'm not telling you you're always wrong. Listen to me, whatever. No, I'm not being a dictator. Listen to what therapists say. Try. If it sucks, then don't do it. Then change and find another one. Okay, that's for any type of industry. You go to one plumber, he doesn't do a good job. What do? Call another one, right? It's the same thing. Like therapy or any type of business industry is always a means to an end. We're trying to solve one problem. If one doesn't solve one problem correctly, go find another one. Okay. But if you pay the money, please listen to them. And if you don't have a relationship, like good relationship with them, change it now, because it's very, very personal. Okay. If you have a bad experience, then it's very difficult. So for instance, Mahima says, my child is 7 years old, still not speaking properly. What should I do? I'm from India. Okay. This kind of question is not that good. You know why? Because I don't know what does not speaking properly mean. I cannot answer you. Impossible to answer. I don't know what you mean by that. So I don't know what you should do. You should go see a therapist, Mahima. If your city right now is not under lockdown, you should go and do it. Okay, go see a therapist, because I don't know what you mean by not speaking properly. I cannot guess. There's no magic ball here. I cannot look into it. And I'm like, oh yeah, 7-year-old. Oh, this is why, this and that. I can't do that. Sorry. All right. Zara says, how can I encourage child to say what they need instead of pointing? Take the micro course. Go to agentsofspeech.com/micro. Okay. This question is a lot better because it tells me exactly what kind of behavior you're talking about. And I can tell you, there might be different reasons why they're pointing instead of talking. It might be that they have a speech problem instead of a language. But go through the micro course first so that you have your bases covered. And if you need more help, you can ask inside of our private group on Facebook, or go see a speech therapist right away. Okay, that's what I'm going to say to you. Okay, agentsofspeech.com/micro. This one. Yeah. So I kind of typed it wrong, guys. I'm so sorry. www. That's what happens when you talk and type at the same time. You don't get it correctly. All right. So you better get it now, because our prices are going up by tomorrow, 30%. Okay. And that's probably it, guys. I just want to end it here because that's all I wanted to say today. The reason why I want to say this is because, you know me, if you're the first time here, then, this is something new for you. I don't like repeating myself. Okay. There's loads of videos online, and you can take a look at it. I mean, on YouTube, whether from me or from other therapists, they're all great. What's the name of the Facebook group? Right. So let me just put it here. Give me a sec. So we have the one for free here, and also there's one for people who are inside one of our courses. Okay. So there are two. Okay. Free one, I cannot really even keep up with everything there. We got 6,000 something people there. It's very difficult to keep track of stuff over there, right? So this is the one this is the free one where everyone comes in, but we try to screen everyone that comes in. And this is the one that I'm more engaged in, but it's only if you've joined one of our courses, then you can join it. And for sure, there are no spammers in there. Okay. Okay, so that's it, guys. Oh, what else was I talking about? I was saying I don't like repeating myself, and I like that when parents like yourself, you ask questions that are very direct and you explain exactly what your situation is. If not, it's very hard for me to answer your question, and then it's going to be super. You don't get your answers and I waste my time asking you more and more, right? We waste each other's time and everyone's time here. So I'm not being harsh, right? I'm just being straightforward. You want answers, then ask the questions correctly and nicely, and tell me what you want to know instead of saying that, oh, what, help me. My son is 3-year-old, not talking. Help me, like that. That's not cool. Okay, be cool and ask correctly. Ask, say, oh, my child is like this, pulls my hand, says these words, but doesn't use it consistently. He can say this word, that word. He can sing songs, but if he wants something, he will pull my hand, something like that. Okay, there's a very typical case right there. Then the answer would be go to agentsofspeech.com/micro. Okay, for other things like such as, oh, my very specific stuff like, oh, my son doesn't have the S sound. What should I do? Right, my son would like to doesn't go to the toilet or something like that. My son doesn't know how to line up, that kind of stuff. Also, you can ask me. Feel free to do that. But please describe as much as you can, all right? Or else it's very difficult for myself to answer you. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in for this live video. Anything that you want to ask, just put them in the comment section, even if you're watching a recording. Okay, I'll try my best to get back to you. And if you guys join the Facebook group, we do this live every Monday, and you can chime in, and it's just free consultations. Just ask me anything here, and I've booked this time for just doing this for you guys after dinner. All right, so that's it for now. And if you haven't, go to agentsofspeech.com, check out our courses. The micro course, for that matter, is increasing in price tomorrow, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'll see you next Monday. Bye bye.